Hi everybody, welcome to our discussion for Chapter 10, which is non-directive behaviors. So this is just like directive control. I don't believe this model should be used as a principal. I would never want to use this model. I really think that a principal should handle conflict, help the teacher, work with the teachers, and you should focus on collaborative and directive informational. But this is a fairy tale model. I don't believe in this model, just like I don't believe in the directive control model. These two are, I feel comfortable with the ones in the middle, but not the two extremes. So we're going to present the steps, but you have to realize in this situation, the teacher has 100% control. So think about this as if the teacher's making a decision and the teacher has all the autonomy in the world on that decision. Obviously, we can see there are problems with this. So think about these steps and think about these ideas, and as we present this model, I don't want you to lose sight that the teacher has complete control in this model. So, number one, you wait until the teacher makes a statement. The teacher says what it is, you shouldn't think about it, you should let the teacher make the statement and tell you what they're feeling and telling you what they think the problem is. You have to sit there and try not to react. Just sit there, think about what should be done, but let the teacher make the statement and ultimately know that the teacher is going to be the one that has the final say and the final decision. So next, you verbalize the problem as to how you see it and understand it. You are trying to capture what the teacher is stating. You are just repeating how the teacher feels. You are in listening mode. You're giving the teacher the opportunity to tell you the problem and restate it exactly as they saw it, but you are in listening mode here. You are not ultimately making decisions in this model. So the next step is you actually probe for underlying information. The teacher clarifies the problem for you. You're not to offer the teacher solutions. The teacher is there to clarify. You need to make sure that you understand what the teacher is saying, so that you get their perception and you're deciding basically, to just accept whatever perception they have. You can obviously see the problems that I would have in this model. So next, you sit there and just listen. Just listen further. The teacher will probably go to the real problems later in the conference. Think about when you have somebody that you're talking to that blows up. If I'm in a bad mood and I have to see my boss, I get my steam out, but then I sit down and I say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I'm frustrated. This isn't going right for me, blah, blah, blah. But you need to sit and listen and wait for the real problem to come out, because there always is a bigger problem and there always is a bigger idea. So as we're doing what the teacher tells us to do, you are paraphrasing and you're basically duplicating and showing that you understand what the teacher is saying. You make sure that you let the teacher speak. You hope that you can jog their mind. You sit back and paraphrase if the teacher's not clear on what they're supposed to say or if they stumble. Remember, once again, we're halfway through. The supervisor has done nothing in terms of taking control here. This is all in the hands and in the mind of the teacher. So next, you think of possible concerns. In the other models, the supervisor takes the lead. But in here, the teacher tells you what their perception is, and then you are there to help them generate possible solutions. One of the things that you can do is tell the teacher to come up with 3 or 4 ideas and write them down. So instead of in the collaborative model where you guys wrote them down together, or in the directive informational where you gave them 3 choices, now you're having them come up with it. Then you need to make sure you understand, as the supervisor, what those choices look like. So you ask the teacher now to consider the consequences. If you did this, this would happen. If you did that, this would happen. You are asking the teacher to give you the worst case scenarios. Take each solution in the order that the teacher presented it, because then you're not obviously showing, which solution you like or which one is your favorite solution. So you're asking the teacher to present them and identify all of the worst case scenarios. Next, you ask the teacher to commit. So you presented all these scenarios to me, you told me what you think the problem is, now you're going to make a final decision. Have the teacher select the action that they want, allow them to justify it, and tell them to commit to it. Make sure the teacher understands the best and worst case scenarios. You might offer input and say, well, maybe, but even then you got to avoid doing that. But it's ultimately the teacher's decision here. When you get the timing criteria, it's the same as in collaborative. The teacher sets the action, they set the control. All that you're asking them is, what are you going to do first, what are you going to do next, what are you going to do last, and ask them if there's anything you can do to help them with their final decision. So the final step is when you restate the teacher's plan. Your goal and your job is to repeat the teacher's entire plan and to clarify it. This is more of a formality that ends the meeting. This is something that you want to do, but you just repeat what the teacher stated. So our authors believe this can be done if you have open supervision of staff. I get concerned when I hear this because it's going to be tough to implement, and if you do it with one person, are you going to have to do it with the rest of your staff, or do you divide and conquer and only give certain teachers the opportunity to do this? You need to make sure that if you commit to this model, the majority of your teachers are getting it, because then it looks like you're playing favorites. So, you know, I think too much of this model gives too much control to the teaching staff, because the supervisor, you're trained. You're going to want to give your opinion. If the teacher or the group wants your input, then they don't have to take it, but you're just going to be giving them input, so that's difficult. If somebody's not capable of generating solutions, well, then you switch to another model. What's the sequence? What's appropriate? If you're not directing them, what does it look like? So try to decide whether this relinquishes too much control to the teaching staff, which I think it does. So you use this when you are at not just high levels, as the book says, you use this when you are at the highest levels. If the teacher has expertise and the supervisor does not, then you use this model. If the teacher group has full responsibility for carrying out the decision and the supervisor has zero involvement in it, then it's a good time to step away. If it's something that the supervisor really doesn't care about, then maybe you use this model. The problem is, you have to be careful on when you use this model and how much you use this model. So that's it. Those are the 4 supervision models, and as I said, this is one of the biggest ideas in our class. I try to present these in small chunks, but I want you to think about them and I want you to see them. The next chapter is really a formality because it ties them together just like the first chapter did. Then we're going to look at professional development and ways to give teachers assistance. If I can do anything to help with that, as always, please let me know. I'm here to help and want to make sure that I'm covering everything that and you're getting something out of this class that's beneficial to you. Let me know if I can do anything else to help. Thank you.